Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. Today I'm looking at a book which has come to us from the Legal Action Group. I've reviewed a lot of books over the years from Legal Action Group because they are a preeminent, very established charity concerning access to justice publications, and they are very, very important in all aspects of welfare and social law. This particular book is a new book called Adult Social Care Law, being written by Stephen Gaffner, Queen's Counsel, and I think it's a very important book, an important time. Now, the book came to us at the end of 2016, and I'm recording this at the beginning of 2017, when issues of social care are becoming a very major part of the political agenda in the UK. We know where we're going with Brexit, for whatever good or ill that is, but we do have to bear in mind some of the major problems within the NHS and the major problems within the whole issue of social care, health care and welfare provision. And I think this book assists immensely in the tasks and the serious predicaments that we are going to face in the next few years. Now, Elizabeth and I talked about this book, and our review has the following, and for our book review, superb advice of the very highest standard covering adult social care law at a time of great change. That's what we've got. Let's look at the book. Front cover there, black front cover. The spine, you can see there's a heavy book, it's a paperback. And then on the back you can see the basic comments. I should be referring to some of them. There's the top part of it, then the bottom bit, the actual contents themselves, as I say, from the Legal Action Group. Runs to 900 pages odd. The index at the back shows where to find information. It's done on the basis of paragraph numbering. So it's the chapter and the paragraph numbering, not the page numbering. And you can see there's quite a substantial index where you should be able to find things reasonably well in the index. There's the index starting there. And then we then get to the final chapter, chapter 29. You could see the structure. The paragraph numbering is at the side there, and you can see from time to time footnoting. There's a certain amount of footnoting, not too much. Stephen hasn't put too much in, and I'm very grateful to him for doing that. I couldn't attend the launch of this book, unfortunately, but certainly I gather it went extremely well, and I'm very grateful to everybody concerned for producing it. So I was delayed in court, unfortunately, when this came out. Now, it is an e-book as well as an ordinary paperback, and the introduction is well worth reading. I certainly found the introduction tried to set, I think, some picture. Obviously, a lot of the names of people involved in this are mentioned, but I think it sets the tone and the picture of where we are at the moment with social care law very much in its current context. And it's nice to hear that he very much enjoyed writing the book, because I know a lot of people don't, and so it's nice to know that he did. There's the contents section there. There's a lot of detailed contents, as you can see. There are 29 chapters in total. Then you've got lists of cases, quite a large number of cases. Then statutes, of course, after that. Then you've got treaties and conventions. There are, of course, statutory instruments as well. Excuse me. And then after that, you've got abbreviations. I think the abbreviations is extremely helpful. I'm very grateful to Legal Action Group for including these abbreviations in, because frankly it's very difficult sometimes to remember what some of these abbreviations mean. You can think about it, but it's nice to have it immediately there for you. Now, the house style of the book is very much lag style. You've got a little index at the front for each chapter, so you should find things quite easily. Then you've got the introduction, that's the part, and then the introduction. Then it sets out what the legislation is. In fact, this is the Care Act 2014, and then of course there's reference, of course, to other pieces of legislation. Then there's regulation as well, which I think is also very important. We are getting incredibly complex at the moment with everything that we do. Then we get into the book. This is the strategy, policy and challenges, and then we move forward. It's not an easy area of law. You've got the classic Ackerman, Livingston and Astor communities case mentioned there, very important. But you've got a huge amount of information, a lot of case law, which I think is very, very helpful. Now, what do we say about the book in simple terms? We say this: it's a comprehensive new book from LAG. Ever supportive organisation is the Legal Action Group, which guides all those advising people who need care and support through the constantly moving and overlapping web of legislation, guidance and case law that makes up the complex field of adult social care law today. And I say this because I'm involved in that, not just as an advisor, but because my mother needs care, and we have to know what the law is. I have found it incredibly difficult to understand, especially when you're dealing with someone who has dementia and doesn't understand anything, and you've therefore got to try to come to grips with some of what I think are very complex areas of regulation. I wish it was simpler, I really do, but the fact is it isn't, and we've got to have books from people like Stephen Knapfler to help us, he and his team and all the other people involved, to help us understand how to deal with what is a really difficult subject. Now, as I say, the difficulty we have is that anybody advising people who need care and support through the constantly moving and overlapping web of legislation, guidance and case law, which actually comprises adult social care law today, it's to this publication I think one will pay first attention. And therefore that's why we need a work of this nature from Stephen, probably more needed now than it's ever been, with the introduction of the Care Act 2014. And I have to say that it's probably going to be way up on the political agenda quite quickly, because this is an area which is affecting many more people quite quickly. We have an ageing population, they're not dying off. It sounds very brutal to say that, but they're not, and they need help, and we've got to make sure we have the infrastructure and the support and the requisite regulations there to help. And that's really where this book comes in. It's about adult social care. The author has compromised with his original concept for the book, as he said, and has created what he declares is at its heart a case book. Now that's what I found it to be effectively, and I think the way he set out the cases is quite useful. I mentioned one of them earlier. He's included all the cases of any significance which form part of the adult social care based on selections that he's made from the community care law reports, and I'm very grateful to him for doing so, because again it's a specialist area, but it's an area where you're actually getting everything put together, which I think will help. And in recent years, of course, due to policies of financial austerity, which may be coming to an end over, of course, now by successive governments, social and healthcare bodies have increasingly made decisions involving increases in charges or reductions in services that have been subject to challenge. And LAG's important new work, which was launched, as I say, in the autumn 2016, Adult Social Care Law, succeeds in bringing together, and this is the sort of blurb they've produced, all the significant domestic and European cases that form the basis of adult social care law today, and many other cases in overlapping areas such as the NHS, mental health and support for asylum seekers, persons from abroad, all of which are titles which LAG have actually published in the past, and they're very, very helpful, I think, to us who are dealing with very specific cases in those areas. And of course what Knapfler does in this is, in one volume of about 900 pages, he does actually bring all of this together, fortunately in one volume, and all the pages are needed, believe me. What he also does is, having appeared in the higher courts, is to be a person who is best placed to offer us expert commentary and analysis of the judgments, and also to explain the relevance of older cases within the framework of the Care Act 2014 and associated statutory guidance. And I think we were certainly especially pleased to see the short overarching summary of the legal framework for each of the chapters, which have a sort of case law focus, which is, I think, most helpful for all practitioners. Where appropriate, of course, the framework of legislation and guidance gives context to the cases that are digested chronologically within themes, and I think it works very well indeed. Now, there are over 500 case summaries, which is included and presented here, with a succinct head note for each, a clear outline of the facts, and a summary of the judgment, often with extensive citations. Again, I find this invaluable. I know it links to part of the actual community care law reports, but I do think that that assists us. And what, as I say, you've got these extensive citations, and I think that aids the busy practitioner to quickly and efficiently identify the most relevant cases, as well as to save valuable research time with extensive signposting to the most important resources. And of course, the author's purpose is to help the people who need care and support, and the families and friends who support them. Now, Knapfler writes that, quote, "This tome will provide a sword and a shield for those who need its help most and who often achieve incredible things in the face of huge adversity." And I don't think that's an underestimate, because he's done just that, and it's a delight to know that he very much enjoyed writing it, as I mentioned earlier, because we have excellent benefits as a result of his labours on our behalf. And the law is up to date as at the end of 2016, and the author's aim is to update the book each quarter in its ebook format, and I'm very grateful to him for doing so, because it's a great service that's being offered. Once again, thank you to LAG. There's the book again, there's the front, spine and the back, and if we just open it in the middle, you can see here we're talking about NHS provisions here. You can see again the structure of the case. It is a case book effectively. You can see the case there. There's a case mentioned, R versus North and East Devon Health Authority, ex parte Coughlin, 2001. You have the little head note, the facts, and then the judgment. And what you do have with this one, for instance, if you go to the page, you've got quite a lot of detail, extracts from the judgment. So you've got a lot of information all to hand very quickly. Again, housing and community care cases. Again, you've got the same structure all the way through. So what he's done is he's been able to bring together the cases for us into one sort of one-stop shop, if you like, for this area of law. And I think we're all very grateful to him for producing something that is of great benefit to all in this area. So thank you to everybody involved in a superb new publication. Bye-bye.